Hypocrisy. In Spiti, we had stopped at the monastery of Dhankar. A young monk came to us and asked when we would return to Shimla. A little hesitantly, he wondered if we had space in the vehicle, and if so, would we take the head lama of the monastery with us? He would be en route to McLeodganj, where many of the head monks gathered annually for their winter retreat. We said we would be honored to. A few days later, we picked the head monk and the young monk and set off. It is a long drive, and my friend, whose car it was, planned to do this non stop. We were repeatedly offered sampa, which is made from roast barley flour. This, like buckwheat and other millets, forms the mainstay of plant based food in the area. Then there is literally hard cheese called churpi in parts of India's northeast and in portions of the Trans Himalaya. In the Trans Himalaya, given the soil conditions, the climate, and high altitude, the number of crops per year is severely limited. Green vegetables are mostly brought in from lower areas. In the way that Chango's famous apples are grown in cold aridity, Kinnour's peas are prized not only for their flavor but also for their relative rarity. While communications and supplies have improved considerably and have brought variations in diet, there were times when asking for a vegetable, if any was available, meant that one would get soggy cabbages for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Traditional dietary options remained limited. The result is that despite the fact that most people of these areas are Buddhists, almost everyone eats meat. The animal is honored by every part of it being eaten or used. The authoritative biographer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Alexander Norman, notes: it is characteristic of the Buddhist approach to avoid absolutes. Also, to the dismay of some, the Dalai Lama, though he has often spoken in favor of vegetarianism, is not a vegetarian himself. While it may be ethically, spiritually, and morally desirable, vegetarianism does not necessarily assure one a place in the hallowed halls of goodness. Some of the worst humans on our planet have been vegetarians and have touted their supposed saintliness with this as their only qualification. Take the case of Adolf Hitler. Towards the last years of his life, when he committed the greatest atrocities against humans, Hitler touted his vegetarianism as every given opportunity. A close associate, the Minister of Armaments and War Production, Albert Speer, observed that the Hitler gave descriptions of animal suffering and slaughter at meals to try to dissuade his colleagues from eating meat. Robert Payne, biographer of several world leaders, wrote that the Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels portrayed Hitler as a virtuous man, an ascetic who did not drink, smoke, or eat meat. Returning from America and the World Parliament of Religions that had been held in Chicago in 1893, Swami Vivekananda spoke to the Hindus of Tamil Nadu's Sivaganga. That is where he made his famous statement: we are neither Vedantis, most of us now, nor Puranics, nor Tantrics. We are just don't touchists. Our religion is in the kitchen. Our God is the cooking pot, and our religion is don't touch me, I am holy. Exhorting people to change, the words he uttered just before this have equal importance. Give up all those old discussions, old fights about things which are meaningless, which are nonsensical in their very nature. Think of the last 600 or 700 years of degradation when grown up men by hundreds have been discussing for years whether we should drink a glass of water with the right hand or the left hand, whether the hand should be washed 3 times or 4 times, whether we should gargle 5 or 6 times. What can you expect from men who pass their lives in discussing such momentous questions as these and writing most learned philosophies on them? Political or social appropriations and misappropriations of both heroes and villains is nothing new. Yesterday's hero is today's villain and the other way round. Should there be praise for the vegetarian and condemnation for the meat eater? An image from a childhood book has stayed with me. This is of a Mayan hunter praying over an animal he has killed. As one writes this, it may be added that I am what one would call a non vegetarian in passing. Nor am I a rigorously religious person, but as a Hindu, I do not eat beef. That does not make me a better or worse human than someone who does. It is simply an acknowledgement of the belief system that I was born into and one that I accept. It advocates giving up hypocrisy. Thanks for listening. Hypocrisy means the practice of claiming to have higher standards or more noble beliefs than is the case. Soggy cabbages. SOGGY. Soggy means wet and soft. To avoid absolutes means to be cautious of using language that asserts something is always, never, or completely true.